The story of Tormented Souls 2 is a continuation of events from the first game, which laid the foundation for its cults, gods, and the supernatural bond between two sisters. Decades before the main events, on Blackwood Island in Western Canada, a man named Bertram Wildberger made a discovery beneath the town of Winter Lake. In a subterranean cavern, he encountered a mysterious being he came to believe was a god, an ancient entity once worshipped by the indigenous Tismuit tribe over 1,000 years earlier. According to their teachings, this god could be awakened through the sacrifice of twins. Obsessed, Bertram founded the Pollux sect, a cult named after the twin of Greek mythology, and devoted his life to resurrecting the god. The cult fed sacrifices to what they called the god's egg, an object that began emitting massive amounts of energy. That energy turned out to be radioactive, forcing cult members to wear protective suits and slowly warping the surrounding environment. As twins became increasingly rare, the cult escalated their methods. Pregnant women were kidnapped and subjected to grotesque experiments meant to force twin births. One of these victims was Maria Morissette, the daughter of cult member Noah and the wife of Bertram's own son. Unaware of her family's true involvement, Maria endured repeated failed pregnancies until, in 1971, she finally gave birth to twin girls, Emma and Anna Wildberger. Bertram declared that the twins would be sacrificed once they turned 10. As that date approached, Maria uncovered the truth and tried to flee Winter Lake with her daughters. During their escape, Emma fell from a bridge into a raging river and was presumed dead. Maria collapsed into a coma, and Anna was captured by the cult. Unbeknownst to them, Emma survived. She was rescued, lost all memory of her past, and was adopted by a loving family. She grew up under the name Caroline Walker, living an ordinary life until 1994, when she received a disturbing photograph of two identical girls. Seeking answers, Caroline returned to Winter Lake and uncovered the truth of her origins. Inside the abandoned hospital, she faced grotesque creatures, former humans twisted by radiation from the god's egg, and discovered Noah's plan to complete the sacrifice of the twins. After Noah desperately sacrificed himself instead to resurrect the god in an imperfect form, Caroline was forced to battle and defeat it. Afterward, using a strange connection to another dimension and the ability to physically enter the past, Caroline rescued Anna by pulling her forward in time. This time manipulation saved Anna's life, but it came at a cost. Because Anna was taken from the past, she emerged 14 years younger than Caroline. That is where Tormented Souls 2 begins. Despite escaping Winter Lake, the supernatural bond between the sisters did not fade. Anna began drawing horrifying images in her notebooks, images that soon began manifesting in the real world. Desperate for help, Caroline accepted an invitation to a remote convent in Villa Hesse, a town in southern Chile. There, Mother Superior Lucia promised a treatment that could cure Anna's condition. It was a lie. Lucia was the leader of a new cult, one that worshipped a sea god called Nautilus, an ancient being sealed beneath the town. Like the Pollux sect, Lucia's cult believed the twins were the key to awakening their god. But Nautilus demanded balance. For the ritual to work, the sisters had to be the same age. Lucia's solution was horrifying. Caroline was cryogenically frozen for 14 years, while Anna was kept captive and allowed to age. When Caroline finally awakened, Villa Hesse had become a nightmare. Its streets crawling with monsters, its people twisted by cult rituals and godly influence. Alone and disoriented, Caroline set out to find her sister and uncover what had happened during the years she lost. The origins of Villa Hesse date back to 1927, when a German scientist named Pedro Hertz Hesse discovered ancient underground ruins beneath the region. Inside them was an egg containing Nautilus. Whether Hertz found it by accident or sought it deliberately is unknown, but the discovery defined the town's future. Hertz became Villa Hesse's revered founder. A statue was erected in his honor, the town bore his name, and his body was interred in an elaborate mausoleum. But when Caroline later encounters his remains, the truth is revealed. Hertz was wearing a Nazi SS officer's uniform. This revelation connects Villa Hesse to real historical horrors. After World War II, many Nazi officials fled to South America, including infamous figures obsessed with experimentation and eugenics. Twins, in particular, were a recurring focus, adding an unsettling layer to the cult's fixation on Caroline and Anna. Hertz had two daughters, Lucia and Isabella. Lucia grew up hearing stories of the ruins and Nautilus. She became a nun, rose to the position of Mother Superior, and began merging Catholic doctrine with worship of the sea god. While presenting herself as a healer and servant of God, Lucia conducted brutal experiments on her fellow nuns, justifying torture and death as tests of faith. Isabella believed her sister, Lucia, had been corrupted, whether by Nautilus, by their father's ideology, or by her own desire for control is unclear. Isabella gave birth to a son many years earlier named Miguel, who was adopted and sent to live far away from Villa Hesse, but has just returned after years of searching for leads on who his mother is and where she's living, seeking to reunite with her. Miguel assists Caroline in her search for Anna, including providing details of nearby areas he's already searched. Tormented Souls 2 heavily criticizes organized religion, particularly Catholicism, showing how ritual, iconography, and blind faith can be weaponized. Lucia used Christian imagery to normalize cruelty, gradually introducing pagan worship until sacrificing the innocent no longer seemed unthinkable to the townspeople. This corruption is reflected in the game's enemies. As in the first game, many monsters were once human, mutated by the energy emitted from Nautilus's egg. Some are fused with marine life, others are the result of failed experiments attempting to create a god artificially. In the bunker beneath Villa Hesse, Caroline discovers that cult scientists were combining human and divine genetics, attempting to manufacture their own deity. Even stranger enemies appear. Animated statues, ghosts, zombies, and beings from a dark parallel dimension known as the Other World. The Other World is never fully explained, but it appears to be the realm where the god's true essence resides. It mirrors the real world, and changes made there affect reality. Cult rituals and spells allow energy, and sometimes creatures, to bleed through from that dimension, though cultists themselves seem unable to cross freely. Only Caroline can move between worlds, and Lucia needs her to complete the ritual. Nautilus's soul has been split into fragments, each housed within a powerful being which Caroline must defeat. The Iron Maiden in the town's convent chapel, Dr. Hertz himself deep underneath the town's cemetery, the Harvester in the town's fish processing plant, and Pighead in the basement of the town's school. These entities exist simultaneously in both worlds, sustained by the god's power. Documents suggest that most of these beings were deliberately created to hold fragments of Nautilus's soul. Hertz likely received his fragment when he first discovered the god. This leads to a disturbing implication. Caroline and Anna may also carry fragments of a god's soul. The twins' existence is no accident. The Pollux sect and the cult of Nautilus were connected, sharing research, resources, and facilities. The Wildberger family even partially owned the Chilean processing plant where experiments were conducted. Noah once promised Lucia the twins, likely never intending to honor that deal. Lucia claims that Caroline and Anna are heirs to the blood of the ancient guardians. While ambiguous, the most likely interpretation is that the twins were created using divine genetic material. This would explain their supernatural abilities, Anna's drawings manifesting reality, Caroline's ability to traverse the other world, and even her power over time itself. Caroline's time travel, physically entering the past and altering the present, appears tied to her bond with Anna. If they share fragments of the same god's soul, those fragments may be attempting to reunite, breaking the rules of space and time to do so. Lucia's ultimate goal was not worship, but control. Disillusioned with what she saw as an impotent Christian god, she turned to Nautilus, not out of faith but ambition. She believed she could manipulate the god's power to reshape the world according to her vision. To achieve this, she lied to her followers, recruited scientists and warlocks under false pretenses, and created a mind-controlling virus using Caroline's blood. The entire town was enslaved, awaiting the final ritual. But her plan failed. The virus could not control a god, Nautilus could not be mastered, and in the end, Lucia's attempt to impose order through divine power collapsed into chaos. She forces Anna and Caroline to use their blood in combination with the freed soul fragments to revive Nautilus, opening the portal to the other side and allowing it to enter the world before it proceeds to brutally kill Lucia. Caroline must then face off against Nautilus itself, and succeeds in defeating it, forcing it back into its dimension with the portal sealing behind it. Afterward, there are one of two possible outcomes based on Caroline's earlier actions when Pighead gravely injured the reunited Miguel and his mother Isabella, with her dying shortly. After If Caroline didn't treat Miguel's wound, then he succumbs to his injury and also dies himself. And without his assistance, Caroline and Anna are unable to escape. The bunker laboratory beneath the town, before its automated containment lockdown protocol seals them inside, and they're trapped with no living person having knowledge of their location. Out of desperation, Caroline places Anna into the only working cryostasis chamber, the same one she was previously placed in, to preserve her for as long as possible, with Anna awakening many years later to find Caroline's skeletal remains, clearly having been unable to find a way to escape, meaning that she's still trapped by herself. If Caroline did treat Miguel's wound, then he recovers from his injury and arrives at the bunker just in time to help Caroline and Anna escape before it seals shut. With the entire town now deserted, the trio leave it on foot, walking along the decommissioned railroad tracks out of town, back toward civilization.